Today, the never-ending rivers of debt. Hello again, it's Martin North from Digital Finance Analytics. Welcome to our latest post covering finance and property news with a distinctively Australian flavour. Now, the Reserve Bank has updated their statistical tables, and amongst them there is the statistics that relates to household finances, Series E2. And this is the one that we look at because it gives us a good flavour of what's going on with household debt and household assets to income. And the news is not particularly good. So the first chart is the household debt to income ratios. And the number has gone up again to 189.6. Now that is all household debt to income. The second one is housing debt to income, and that's gone up to 140.2. And owner-occupied housing debt to income is 108.8. And if you look carefully, you can see that there's been an acceleration in growth from around July 2013 onwards. And that is when we found, firstly, lending standards were being relaxed. And secondly, income growth in real terms stopped. So perhaps it's not surprising that in the light of those changes and the fact that we're still continuing to expand total credit to households, particularly around mortgages, that the debt to income ratios continue to lift. And by the way, on an international basis, these are very, very high numbers. Now, the second chart is household assets to income. And you can see there that thanks to the fact that the value of property is falling, the household assets to income ratio is down to 927.9. The housing assets to income is down to 495.3. And the financial assets, so that's things like stock, shares and other investments, relative to income is down a little, but not as much as the housing sector. And you'll see that that really is a significant change because since around 2012, we've had a steady climb in total assets until it reached a peak in the middle of 2017. And since then, it's been falling, and we expect it to continue to fall. And again, these are very high ratios on an international basis. And the third chart is household interest payments to income. And this shows you that the ratio of interest payments to income has risen to 9.1, and it's been rising consistently since the middle of 2016. Of course, it was a lot higher earlier on because interest rates were significantly higher. And if you were to overlay interest rates, particularly mortgage rates, you'd see that they'd fallen considerably in recent times, but then has come up slightly thanks to some mortgage repricing. And the other one is housing interest payments to income. And again, we see a somewhat similar trend with a rise up to 7.6 times. Now, let me just make the point that all of these statistics are averaged across all households. And it's true, of course, that not all households are borrowing. In fact, if you think of all households, about 30% or just over 30% will be renting, and another 30 to 33% will be paying mortgages, and the others will be relatively debt-free. So these ratios give you some indication of relative changes over time, but they don't give you much information about the true impact on households who are borrowing. And that's where indices like our mortgage stress data gives a more precise calibration of the stress in the system, and we'll update those in the next week or so. Anyway, the bottom line is, according to the Reserve Bank, to December 2018, debt is growing relative to income, relative to assets. And as a result of that, we expect to see more stress in the system later. So to conclude, what the Reserve Bank data to the end of December 2018 shows is that household debt continues to rise. Household incomes is not rising anywhere as quickly. As a result of that, the ratios are deteriorating. And just to repeat, we have some of the highest debt ratios in the world, which is a sign of trouble ahead. I'm Martin North from Digital Finance Analytics. Many thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you again next time.